Welcome back to another video, everyone. So you've read the title. Today I'll be playing every single Crash game in one video. Now you might be thinking, Lewis, why are you doing this? I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea why I'm doing this. I just thought it'd be kind of fun. Now, I'm not going to be completing them all or anything. I'm just going to play them all for a little bit, talk about each one. I'll give each one a few minutes before moving on to the next. That way the video will be a reasonable length and I won't waste your time playing through every single one of them. And this is just going to be for the main console games. So the Game Boy games I haven't included. And I think I might decide to leave Crash Boom Bang out as well for the Nintendo DS, although I don't think anyone is bothered by that. I'm going to try and keep the video below 20 minutes, so let's hop straight into Crash 1. I'm going to be playing the original PS1 games on the PS2. And since I've got all these games... Sorry, nothing interrupts the original PlayStation 1 intro. Since I've got all these games on completely different consoles, this video is going to include a lot of wires, a lot of setting different consoles up. It's true what they say. Smashing a TV remote that's not responsive will make it work. I don't have a save game on this memory card, so we will be starting from the beginning. Oh yeah, I've completely forgot that like doing these double jumps on these crates, it takes 10 jumps instead of 5. I'm just so used to the N.Sane Trilogy version. And you know what? I'm glad they changed up a few things in that version of the game. That being one of them, because it does save a bunch of time, you know, in the long run. But the biggest thing being that if you die, you can still get the clear gem, you know, as long as you collect all the crates. And then, you know, they brought it back in Crash 4 with the insanely perfect relics. Now this bit, you could use invincible Aku to just walk across these. I don't have the luxury of invincible Aku right now though. And I've got to use this incredibly uncomfortable D-pad that I have here on this controller. I don't know if it's just my controller, but you have to push really hard into them for the inputs to actually be recognized. What's the point of even trying now that I've died? Let's just get to the end of the level. The original trilogy, Crash Warped is definitely the one that I'm the most nostalgic for. I mean, these games came out before I was even born, but Crash Warped was the one that I just remember the most playing as a kid. We can't get the clear gem on this level because we don't have the colored gem, so no point getting all of them in this one yet. I'm just thinking of this compared to, you know, Crash Bandicoot 4, and it's just crazy how far we've come, isn't it? I'm thinking of like, well, really any dimension in that game showcases how crazy the graphics are. But I don't know, Tranquility Falls, the Snacks dimension, just crazy comparing it to the classics. Let's move on to Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back.
Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back.
Man, you've got to love those intros. Turtle Woods. Do a level or two in Crash 2. I would emulate these games to make them look much better than they do here. And I actually will have to emulate like one or two of them because I've got a few issues. I don't know, my recording device is so weird. I've got different versions of Tag Team Racing and for some reason the top of the screen is just cut off constantly. It doesn't matter what aspect ratio I have on my TV, it's just constantly cut off. So I'll probably emulate that. And again, it's not that much of a... whatever, man, whatever. Yeah, it's not really a bad thing because the game will look a lot better, but hold up a second, I've just got to focus. Don't want to miss the well-hidden power crystal. We'll just do Snow Go real quick before moving on to Crash Warped. Oops, I've wasted all my Akus. Yeah, I'm not the best at this game, am I? Hold on. Focus. There we go. Just didn't want to miss that.
Through each door lies a well-hidden crystal.
Okay, this is an interesting way of getting this box, but it works. Let's move on to Crash Warped.
A game created and developed by Naughty Dog. Crash Bandicoot 4.
My favorite in the trilogy, it has one of my favorite soundtracks. It introduced Uka Uka, you've got Dr. Entropy. Man, hearing Aku's voice now just hits different. Look how terrifying he looks at this, and you can see in the background Entropy just standing there. This is it's Crash, but it's terrifying.
This time the great Uka Uka will make sure that you do it right.
Well, we know what happens over the course of this game and Crash 4. I love this game for so many different reasons. I think the bosses are my favorite in this game. The music, the different themes in the levels. This theme in itself is incredibly nostalgic for me because I used to play this level a lot. I never was able to beat the game or never really understood how to beat it. So I would just go through the main levels and I'd beat all like the main levels, but then I would just sort of replay through them again and I never really got full completion. I'm not too big of a fan of the underwater levels, although they're a lot better than they were in Wrath of Cortex, but we'll get to that game when we get to it. Hold on, let me just focus. Didn't want to miss that there. I've ran that joke into the ground at this point. I'll stop. And just like that, I've missed a few crates. You know what? It's completely fine. I got a life in return. And I missed that one as well. You know, I had that problem in the N.Sane Trilogy as well. I would miss that crate. One thing I will appreciate this for, though, is the fact that when you go through a stack of 4 crates, you actually smash the 4 crates. Something It's About Time could learn from. And we are done with a bunch of missing crates. Okay, I'd say that was a good chunk of the video dedicated to Crash 3. Now let's move on to the original Crash Team Racing. Just do a little single race for this one. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm not as good as drifting in this version. I mean, I can manage it, but I'm definitely not as tight as in Nitro Fueled. In fact, I've seen some people, I think it was mainly when the game came out, but they said that this game controlled better than that version. And I guess I've just got a different opinion to that. I think that version is just perfect when it comes to controls and boosting and drifting. And it might have just been a case of, you know, they've been used to this game for like, what, 20 years now? They're sort of going into Nitro Fueled. And at first, I couldn't drift in that game either, but I learned it eventually. So maybe they did eventually learn it and ended up thinking otherwise, but I don't know, I guess there's nothing wrong with thinking that this game controls better than Nitro Fueled. There's an easy first place, but then again, we were on easy mode, so not anything to be proud of. Yeah, we just did this. I don't know why I clicked restart. I've been recording for 40 minutes already. I think most of this time is just switching between games and stuff, but we've still got a bunch of games left. So let's move on to Crash Bash.
Crash Bash!
You know, I said Crash 3 had one of my favorite soundtracks, but I think this one did it really well as well. And you know what this game introduced? Rillaroot, baby. It's a pretty good lineup. Rillaroot, Coco, Tiny, and Dingodile. Let's have a go at Crash Ball then, my favorite Crash Bash minigame. Tell you what though, this game is bloody difficult. It's a very tough game. Not so much the first warp room, but when we progress with the game, it gets so tough. And if you beat this game as a kid, like fully 200%, I commend you. I have no idea how you did that as a kid. I can't even do this as an adult, as a 21-year-old. I mean, again, this warp room is manageable, but it's when you get later on in the game, the difficulty just gets unfair at times. Keep those balls away from me. Dingodile's gone. Just Coco and Tiny now. Took a big hit there. Ooh. I wanted to hear that sound clip. Time for round 2 though. It's not all celebrations yet. This ball will not escape me. Oh my god, it went in after all that. Dingodile's just taking massive L's right now. Oh, I shouldn't have said that because he just scored one in my goal. Dingodile is first to go yet again. Coco's second to go this time though. Tiny only requires 2 more though. And it looks like he's got himself in a bit of a pickle. One more, here we go. That is what you call a last second save. He just does not want to be here right now. He let that slide in. Oh, you know what? Dingodil's doing better than me. So even though he's putting in no effort, he clearly is. Come on, Tiny. You're facing opposite him, so I would really like to help. No, no help now. It's just all me. Really got to work on defending, right? Yes, yeah, there we go. And there is the trophy. But that concludes the PS1 Crash Bandicoot games. We're now going to move on to Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Cortex.
Crash Bandicoot, the Wrath of Cortex. This is the creature who keeps sabotaging your master plan? Ha! You gotta be kidding. I'll exterminate this field rat in no time.
You know, The Wrath of Cortex gets a lot of hate. I think it gets more hate than it deserves at times. For some reason, everyone thinks this, like the loading screens take forever, but they actually don't for some reason. Like, it's something everyone remembers, but no one experiences when they go back to revisit this game. It's strange. The game gets more hate than it deserves at times, I think. Now, I've got many problems with this game, for sure. Like, I don't know, I think the graphics are a bit off. I think there's way too many vehicle levels in this, or there's no real focus with them. People thought that about Warped, but in this it's just taken to a whole new level. And I think the boss fights in this game are quite good as well. I really like the final one, Crunch Time. That's probably my favourite one. Or it might be the one where you fight Pyro and Crunch. That one's got a solid soundtrack. Just saying though, the death route is just here. So let's not die right now. There we go. Okay, I've got a double Aku, so we should be good here. We should be good. I mean, it's the first level, so we should be good anyway. Just lost one of them. Two of them. Yeah, there we go. I nearly made that. The jumps are a lot floatier in this compared to the originals as well. Nice. Now we're going to move on to Crash Nitro Kart. Oh, I'm just realizing my save game is on my 360, so I'm not going to have access to Hyperspaceway.
Presents a turbocharged extravaganza by Vicarious Visions. Brace yourself for Crash Nitro Kart!
I've always loved the cutscenes in this game. I'm just waiting for Dingodile to get splattered.
Dingodile, throw the switch!
I am Emperor Velo the 27th.
Unlocking Velo on this game as a kid was just bloody impossible. I could just never do it. But returning to the game a few years later, I was able to do it within a couple of attempts. Yeah, I haven't got any of my characters. I always used to main N.Trance and Polar. This is yet another game that receives quite a lot of negativity, and I think it's because, of course, a lot of people don't think it's as good as the original Crash Team Racing. And I will agree on that, but I don't think it's as bad as some people make it seem. And I played this so much as a kid. This is the one I grew up with over Team Racing. But I'm gonna forever remember these controls. I can sometimes get 100 consecutive boosts. You need 50. In fact, actually, let's try and unlock, nah, nearly. I was gonna say, let's try and unlock Pura, because I believe... Actually, no, you have to do it in adventure mode. But you need 50 consecutive boosts to unlock Pura and Fake Crash. But yeah, the controls in this are definitely more clunky, but I can still really get into it and enjoy it. And I like the story of this game as well. The tracks are good as well. I mean, you've got Hyperspaceway at the very end, which is really cool. Such a long and just epic track. You got some good soundtracks in this as well. I really enjoy this game. That was very short, so I'll play one more race. I actually have no idea. Oh, what the hell was that? Why did I get a mask when I'm in second place? Oh no! Oh, I've lost it. Engine... Have I? Yeah. No! That was the last second clutch. Now we're going to move on to a lot of people's favourite Crash game, Crash Twinsanity. And I am one of those people who love this game. It's not my favourite, but it's one of them. Turns out I've already got a save game on my original Xbox. Let me just see where this puts us at. I want to do it from the beginning, really, but... Oh, this is the final, but no, I'm not doing this. I think we'll start a new game. I do have one at the Iceberg Lab, so I might check that out just before getting off this game in a minute, because they are some of my favorite levels. But you've got so much to do in this beginning area. I always used to run the chickens into the nitro crates and just blow them to pieces. One of you has to hit that. There we go. Nice. But yeah, there's plenty to do in this one area, and I absolutely love the more open world style of Crash. At the end of the day, it's not actually open world, but I love this, and I'd love to see a new Crash game in the future in this style.
Come on, follow me, Crash. Stay close and do what I do.
This game was interesting to say the least. This game does have a massive issue though when it comes to the backwards compatible Xbox 360 version. Some of the levels just... Oh, and I don't like this either. This is not invincible Aku Aku, it just isn't. First of all, it doesn't even work properly because you can die to multiple things when you're invincible. And there's no bloody music, what is that? When you're playing this on a 360, the frame rate just dips at certain areas. It's borderline unplayable when you get to the Nina part. Oh, we cannot forget this legendary character.
Hey, hey, hey! Yeah, you! I've been doing this for 10 stinking years. Back and forward, and I'm sick of it! Well, I'm not gonna do it no more!
You know, I always felt bad for spinning this skunk into the nitro crates, and so I'm gonna let him live. What is tiny in this version? And then you've got Koala Kong. Look at him. What is that atrocity? I was always like quite sad that they never ended up making an appearance in the game after this when I was a kid. I was always hoping Ripperoo would make an appearance, but man, this game was far from perfect. There's so much cut content, there's so many glitches in the game. It's unfortunate that it had to come out in that state, and I think a lot more people would like this game if, you know, it came out finished. You know, if the game was fully realized and they could, you know, have more time in it to work on their ideas and stuff. Let's just kill Mecha Bandicoot real quick. And then we'll move on to the next game.
Done?
We're now going to move on to Crash Tag Team Racing. Okay, I no longer need to emulate this game because I fixed my issue. I had to go into the Xbox settings and change this one thing. I'm going to resume my game. I don't think I'm anywhere. I think I'm just at the beginning anyway, so... Oh, I've got a little bit of progress on the first park. You already know what we've got to do while we're on this game. We've got to play some Von Clutch's lanes. So I actually did start a series on this game a while ago. It was a few months ago now. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like half a year ago at this point. I know it was earlier this year, and the thing is, I've lost my save data because I was doing that on an emulator, and I think I've lost the save data for that, unfortunately. Let's just get that for Coco. I've updated my emulator since, and the old one isn't really working properly, so if I can get it fixed, I'll be able to continue that series at some point. This is yet another game that so many people hate, but I love. Let's give that to Coco and unlock a car. Oh, I accidentally skipped it. We don't know what car we just unlocked. Saying you like tag team racing in the Crash community might get you a few of these looks, but I love this game. I'll admit the racing isn't the strongest, but the fact that it's set in a theme park is really cool. You can go around all these different places exploring. You got the whole platforming side to the game that I love. The racing can be fun at times as well, but there's just no real memorable tracks in this game. It's still decently fun at times, and I really like the tag team mechanic. I like being able to team up with another partner. I completely botched that. Yeah, we're not even making it over the first bump. That's more like it. Strike. This may not go how I want it to, but it might. Yes, it did. Ooh, this one's not too bad. I can usually get a strike on this relatively easily. You just want to do that. And this one is relatively easy as well. What you just want to do is go straight like that and then turn, and you are setting yourself up for a strike. Now we can't just leave Crash Tag Team Racing without doing a race. So let's go back into Mystery Island and we'll play one race before moving on. The character you always want to team up with in this is Engine. He's got the best weapon. I know there's others like, I think Pasadena has a really good... Oh no, it's not Engine, sorry. It's, is it Engine? I think Crunch has a really solid weapon. It's Crunch and Engine. I think they both have really good weapons. So Engine's weapon is, let's see. Goodbye to you two. There's Crunch. You know what, Crunch? I want to team up with you next, buddy. That reminds me, there's a huge little exploit, I guess you could say, in this game. I just realized that I did say huge little at the same time, but, you know, let's forget that. There's a little exploit where you can team up with someone, and they'll pretty much get you to first place, like, near enough. There's Engine again. We're gonna go back with him, just to get full ammo. That's another exploit. You run out of ammo, just disconnect with them, and then get back with them. Boom. Ammo replenished. But that, look, it's that. When you disconnect with them, you get a huge boost. So chances are they're going to get you to first place, then you can just disconnect with them and win the race. I'm getting ready to just completely ditch Cortex here. Goodbye, Cortex. See you later, my boy. I will take that win. We're now going to move on to Crash of the Titans. This game brought quite a few design changes to the characters, quite noticeably Aku Aku, but everyone else as well, pretty much. Oh.
I'm off to do bad things. Ta-ta.
I'm just gonna stay here a while.
By a while, do you mean the entire fucking game? I think I've said this for every game after The Wrath of Cortex, but this is another game I enjoy a lot. Well, it's a game I enjoyed a lot as a kid. I actually replayed it earlier this year to review it. I had fun replaying it. Obviously, it is quite different to, you know, what Crash games are usually like. I have fun on it though. The boss fights in this game suck, other than Uka Uka and Nina. In fact, I can't even call them boss fights because they suck that much, but I do think it's a lot better than Mind Over Mutant, I'll say that. We're about to come up on, you know, the first Titan soon, the Spike, and that's another thing I really liked about this game, the fact that you can hijack Titans. It was so cool! In fact, you can call me a sad little child, but as a kid, I used to dream of having an army of Titans to, like, take over the world and stuff. So I was basically like the Neo Cortex, but in real life. Why I was having dreams about that stuff, I don't know. I always just thought there was something real cool about the Titans. I was actually playing the Nintendo DS version of this game just before Crash 4 released. I nearly finished it, but because that game came out, I stopped playing it for a while. But that game is completely different to this version of the game, which I found interesting, and I'm actually going to be reviewing that game just after I get my Crash 4 review out. So be on the lookout for that, because I finished most of it before Crash 4 came out. I finished the script and the gameplay and everything. Aku is concerned. The main gripe I have with this game is that Crash can only spin for a certain amount of time before getting dizzy. It's like, come on, what bullshit is that? It's Crash Bandicoot. You can't say that's not cool. I just thought it was a pretty interesting idea, you know, adding Titans to the game that you can take over. This is one of the problems I have with the game though, just being forced to stay in one area while it keeps spawning enemies over and over and over again, and you're just supposed to sit here and defeat them. It's worse when it's the Titans and they'll just spawn like 20 battlers or something. And one thing you always want to do is take over the Titans, even if you've got perfect health, because you unlock skins, really cute skins, when you get a certain amount of hijacks. My favorite is probably the Scorpion skin, and I believe that is the end of the mission. I think I'm missing like one spy bar. We're definitely not getting gold. Well, I got all the spy bots and just didn't get everything else. But now we're going to move on to Crash Mind Over Mutant, perhaps one of the most boring intro screens ever. Even though I've got a lot of negative things to say about this game, I like the cutscenes. They're all in different styles of animation, and it's something I've really enjoyed about this game. And one thing that got me in this game when I first played it, because I actually didn't play this game until this year, but you know how in Titans you can like spin? In this, when you press the same buttons, it forces you straight to the ground. So there were so many times I jumped off a platform onto another one and accidentally just went straight into the void. One of my main problems with this game is that there's just too much backtracking involved. You know, you have to go back and forth, and to get to the evil public school, that one really annoyed me. Because you have to go through so many areas that you've already been through, and there's nothing particularly interesting about them. It wouldn't be so bad if the places that you were traveling to actually made it worthwhile. Like, there's more of an emphasis this time on the Titans, like where they're from. For example, the Ratical Kingdom. You've got other characters that are in the Ratical family. I just wish there was more to do in these places, and I wish the journey to getting to the places was more entertaining. That way, the backtracking won't be as bad. My best example of this is probably the evil public school. It takes so much backtracking to get there, and when you finally do, you spend like 10 minutes there before leaving to just never return in the rest of the game. And it's a shame because the locations have potential. There could have been so much more in them than there actually is. Coming up to the end of the level now though, we're going to get this, and then we're going to fall out the waterfall. Yeah, we can go and give those to Coco now, but we're not going to bother doing that. We're now going to move on to Crash's Return, the N.Sane Trilogy. Although we're not going to spend too much time on this because, you know, we've already played the 3 games that are in this collection. So I'm only going to do 1 level in each just really quickly. Look at this. Wow. I know it's been out for years now and I've played this multiple times, so the graphics don't really surprise me, but after playing the originals and coming back to this, it does actually surprise me. Again, it's just that feeling of, wow, we've came so far. Yeah, what else can I say about this? I mean, this is the perfect remake for these 3 games. Look how much easier it was to smash all the crates this time. I mean, I've already completed the game. The only thing I haven't done is the relics. I've done a couple relics, but that's something I'll be going back to after Crash 4. Oh, great, look, we're already at Turtle Woods. Awesome. It is the perfect remake. The graphics are beautiful. And I don't know, there's something about playing the originals and then playing this version that just makes me appreciate this version a lot more. I'm just glad we got this game. And you know what? I've got the running shoes, so you can actually go faster than... Oh, I always tried to jump that, but never make it. And that is Turtle Woods. Fresh out the Neo Cortex boss fight. Let's go back to the very beginning. I wonder if we're actually going to get any more remakes in the future. I don't know if they'll do that or not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they've already remade the ones that needed to be remade, you know? The original trilogy, obviously that's a must. And then of course they had to do Team Racing as well. But I don't think there's any games that need to be remade at this point. I think, you know, we could leave it at that. Not saying I don't want to see any more, because I wouldn't mind it at all. Especially if it was Twinsanity, like I said. I just wonder how likely it is that if we're going to see any more in the future. Moving on to Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. The Switch version is the only version that I have physically, but we will be playing it on an Xbox One. Just gotta love it. You just can't help but smile. One of my favorite games of all time. And again, I feel like they mastered the controls in this. They mastered the drifting and the boosting. I just wish there were extra modes in online mode to keep it alive longer. Because all you have right now is just, you know, this basic racing mode. And while it is fun, it would be better if there were extra modes as well that you could do. Just something that gives the player a reason to keep coming back. I really wanted like a ranking system. Just something that makes the player want to grind for, you know, because there's no real reason to grind in this game other than the items in the pit stop, but not everyone wants those. I mean, I've got plenty of stuff in the pit stop I haven't unlocked, but I've got really everything I wanted. I just wish there were different modes that you could play other than the battle. Oh yeah, I've completely forgot about the battle mode. Just something more than those 2 modes and some sort of ranking system. Still love this game though, and it will always be one of my favorites. If they ever make a Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled 2 or just another Crash Racing game, it's going to be hard to top this. I think one of the only ways they could one-up themselves would be, again, the online mode. Anyway, let's go over to the PS4 and play Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time. The first brand new Crash adventure since Mind Over Mutant. It's crazy to know that that was the last brand new game that we've had in this series. Also, a little update on my Crash 4 review. I know it's been in the works for a long time now. It would have actually been done a while ago if there weren't any delays. It's not like the review itself has taken this long to make. No, there's just been delays in the process. But the script is done. I think I've wrote more words in this than I ever have in an essay at school. We'll give it a spin, because I love the theme of this level, I love the background. I've seen a bit of hate for this game. I've even seen some people call it the worst Crash game, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you know, fair enough if you don't like it, but calling it the worst game, it just objectively is not the worst game. Crash Twinsanity, for example, I love it, great game, but it's unfinished. There's so many glitches in it. This game, while it is difficult, and while it is frustrating at times, it's beautiful. There's nowhere near as many glitches in it. This is the bit I was talking about with the background. Just look at this. Just so gorgeous. The yellow marker really does help at this bit. Just make it across there. I've already got the gem for all crates on this level, so not really too bothered about skipping any. But that concludes this little Crash journey we've been on. We've played every single main Crash Bandicoot game. The only ones I haven't included are the handheld games. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know down below what your favorite Crash game is. Don't worry, I won't judge you if it's, you know, Mind Over Mutant or The Wrath of Cortex or something. We all love these games for our own personal reasons. So thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Definitely subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you all in my next video. Okay, I know what you're all saying. Lewis, you haven't played Crash Boom Bang. We all wanted to see that. Fine. Right, I think that's enough.